Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I thought it'd be fun to read some 1-star reviews of books that I gave 5-star to, and then see if from them if I would actually read the book. With that being said, we're going to get into the first book, which is If He Had Been With Me by Nolan. I think that's how you say her name, I'm not too sure. This book honestly was so sad, but I really enjoyed it. I read this actually quite quick, I think. I can't remember. I think I read this one and then the second book in within a week of each other. I did it on Monday to Sunday with both of them. I can't actually remember exactly how long each one took physically though, but I really did enjoy this. But now we're going to get on to some of the 1-stars. So I have screenshotted quite a lot of these. A lot of these I feel like have very similar vibe, and it's not really necessarily that people are just rating it like 1 star and be like saying the whole thing about it, but yeah, basically I'm going to tell you a few of the ones and you'll understand what I mean. First one is by someone called Angel. They've put, "It's so bad I want to give you a 0, but that's not possible, so I gave you a 1." And that kind of reminds me of I feel like that would be something that Abby Lee would say personally. And then we've got Give the Treats Their Paperback, Boring, Yawning, Sloppy, Lazy, Abby Lee Miller. And then one of them is I Want to Break Her Little Tiara. Another person put, I originally DNF'd this book but decided to pick it up again, I wish I didn't. And the next one was Boring, No Plot, Slut Shaming. And then we've got one more, which is The Tiaras Were the Most Developed Character and Plotline Here. That is all the small ones, and for the small ones personally I would like, that's just people's opinions, and I feel like the book maybe just was not for them personally, and I personally would have still read it because I feel like that's not really anything that's like being like, it's not giving me anything being like, oh yeah, this is why it's bad. It's just I don't like it, you know, if that makes any sense. So for them ones personally I would have still read it. I do have one more review, which is an actual review. I'll have the pictures up on the screen of this one. This one's a big one. Anyway, it says, "People are saying they cried at the end. I'm crying happy tears because the book was finally over. I'm crying over wasting my time on this book. Characters, Autumn. Like 10 pages in we find out she's quirky, not like other girls, weird, odd, but beautiful. She literally thinks if maybe people wouldn't like her if she was ugly and odd instead of pretty and odd. Like, why does she have to voice these things? Couldn't it have been I like to wear black skirts and tiaras and not I'm weird, I'm old, I'm odd, I'm quirky, I like to wear black skirts and tiaras. And right when she starts to go on me, she just calls some random girl a 1989 TV folk track unprovoked. Like, you can't just say that because you don't like someone." Autumn. And it says Finny. I really don't have much to say about him except that he was low-key an awful friend, and before people come from me and be like, well, actually they aren't friends anymore, I literally do not care. They see each other like twice every week to have dinner and they used to be best friends. The least he can do is not confront and be all offended when I say something that's literally not mean at all. Also, he's literally in love with her. So then Jamie, I can't actually remember who Jamie is, to be fair. Literally have nothing to say except that I hated him since the beginning. Then all her other friends who I can't tell apart, I really don't care about them. Then Plot. Most of this was autumn school life from freshman year, senior year, and let me tell you, I literally did not care. I didn't care about the steps they ate at lunch every day. I didn't care about her dyeing her friend's hair. I didn't care about who was dating who. I didn't care about her hating, is it Sophie, I think that might be how you say her name. For who knows what reasons. I didn't care about her swimming with her friends. I didn't care about her tiaras or any other fashion choices she made. I didn't care about Thanksgiving or Christmas. I did not care. Literally falling asleep reading this. It was that boring. And IG, the ending was sad, but I was just so unattached to these characters that no tears were shed. I really just didn't care though. I did get whiplash from how much was happening in the span of like 8 pages, and like nothing happens the whole book and then everything is just thrown at us at the end. I will say this book did have potential, but it was IMO, sorry, it's executed very poorly. I personally kind of agree with part of it. Like, some of it I don't, she hated that Sophie girl for literally just because that Sophie girl was dating the guy Finn, basically. She had a crush on Finn. He was in a relationship with someone else. She pretty much hated her because of it. And then the stairs, I do get that. They was literally there like 24/7, honestly. But the only thing I would say about this and stuff is the tiara is a bit cringe. Like, she was pretty much wearing tiaras throughout her whole school, and it is a bit cringe. But I kind of like sort of like looked past that, because like it's whatever. Like, if she wants to wear them, she can wear them. But yeah, I do get some of it, like why she didn't like it personally. However, this person, I think it's a girl, I don't know. But I feel like it might just genuinely not been for her. I feel like it was just a book that was not for her, and from what she's saying she didn't like, I feel like she could have probably figured that out sooner and just not read the rest of the book. But I still would have actually read the book from all of these reviews. Also, for me personally, I didn't cry in this book. I did get a bit upset at the end, but I think it's because the first and last chapter, the first chapter kind of gives away what's going to happen in the end, so it kind of like took it away, if that makes any sense. Like, I really didn't read the first chapter and just read the rest of it, and then it probably would have hit a bit harder. However, the second book, I sobbed quite a bit on the second book. The second book is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. So this one is a bit of an odd one. I did actually, when I first read it and bought it, I did see a lot of negative reviews, and I think because I can't remember I cannot for the life of me remember where I seen this, but I think it was on TikTok somewhere. I seen someone say how like this book, basically the plot and all that is like not the best, but it's one of the reads where you don't need to put loads of thought to it. You can just read it. It's like a little break in between books, and because a lot of people were trying to like go into it thinking like, with high expectations, that's why I didn't like it. So I kind of didn't go into it with a high expectation, and I think when I read it, it was actually the perfect timing, because I did need a like easy book because I was in a bit of a slump, and this was actually perfect for that. But with that being said, I'm still going to go through the reviews and see if any of these would have made me not want to read it. So the first, they're all actually kind of biggish reviews for this one, but the first one is: reading Pumpkin Spice Cafe was like sipping on a cup of room temperature sugar-free pumpkin spice latte. Zero flavour, zero warmth, and definitely zero chemistry. The plot barely there, and the main characters had about as much chemistry as two strangers sharing an elevator ride. Honestly, this book would have been so much better if every single character just died inside. We're left with their story that reads like it was spat out of AI. After scanning Pinterest boards, I'm genuinely be shocked if a real human thought this was a love story worth telling. If you're looking for a cozy read, look elsewhere. This is about as comforting as cold toast. The only thing brewing in Pumpkin Spice Cafe is disappointment, which, to be fair, I don't know what happened with this book exactly. I remember like them basically not liking each other. The guy being like, oh no, like we can't date because like everyone's like gonna know about it and stuff, and their relationship, they was like hiding it away for a bit when they did start dating, because the guy was like scared, I think it was of his ex. He was like scared to like be seen with her basically for a bit, so they just kind of hid the relationship. So I do get that, but that bit I was a bit like, can you just not, like, I need you to like forget about that. Anyway, so that, yeah, next review. This book had all the elements to a cute, fluffy, cozy autumn romance book, but unfortunately it wasn't. The characters were shallow and had zero depth. The whole storyline was boring and I struggled to finish it, sorry. The next one, update, my review still stands, but I find it absolutely funny as hell. It got 45 likes and the actual review is: if you think a guy who spent an entire book comparing his love interest to a past one is a good character, please reflect on your life choices. And FMC was just a dumb bitch. There's nothing more to say. This is what I mean, like half of this time the guy was talking about his ex, and I'm pretty certain it was this book he was like, who I think he had basically, I can't remember, he proposed to her and then she just like dipped out of the city, because obviously the person who now owns a Pumpkin Spice Cafe like moved into the city or to the area because her nan moved away, or her grandma or something, and then they need someone to look after the cafe. So she moved in, but then he was pretty much the whole time was like, no, like I don't want to get in a relationship with her because she's gonna leave. She's gonna do what the girl before did, where they moved in, said they was gonna stay, and then couldn't handle it and moved on. So like majority of the book was with him being like, no, I can't do that. And then when he did finally like allow it, he just didn't want to like be it off in public for some reason. I don't know. Next review is, once more I have been aggressively lied to by TikTok. The male love interest in this has an alpaca named Harry Styles and a chicken called Lizzo, and it honestly tells you everything you need to know about this book. He does have a lot of farm animals. He's like a farm person and he has a lot of farm animals with different names. I'm pretty certain one was like Taylor Swift or something, I don't even know, which I did find a bit weird. Like he had random like famous people's names. I did find that a bit odd, to be honest. Next one is, this is actually the final review, I think. Actually no, I've got one other review after this. Boring and eye-rolling. Boring and eye-rolling bad. 1 star for the cover. The setting was cute and vibes were there. Autumn in a small New England town, a coffee shop, pastries, whatever, sorry, galore. What could possibly go wrong? Alas, as I quickly found out, a lot could go wrong. The characters and plot simply did not deliver. The novel promises to be a grumpy sunshine romance, but Grumpy ain't really grumpy in my opinion. He was an introvert, not grumpy, sue me. In addition, this book features insta-love, which is a trope that is not for me, which is a romance novel without some good tension. The only tension in this novel stems from the great conflict which will the reformed city girl turn back on her small-time life. After all, seems super stupid and was hilariously easily to overcome. This could have seriously cut down on chapters and words and nothing would have changed. P.S. What straight white man, male farmer names his chickens Taylor, Beyonce, EDC, his alpaca Harry Styles? Sorry. Where am I? Sorry, but this just screamed millennial, can't say that word, millennial, whatever, white woman to me. Signed him, white woman, millennial, I can't say that word, that thing. Yeah, that's one of the reviews, which is understandable. Like, why would a random adult male have animals named after different people? It is weird. I personally find it weird, to be honest. He was like, I think he was pretty much the only thing that was really wrong with the book, but I just did enjoy it. I think it was just because at the time I needed a quick, easy, comforting read that I didn't have to put any think into, because I was just so in a slump that I just needed something easy to read. I will say though, for that series, the 3rd book is way better and you don't have to read the other ones really to read that one. And I think it's because both were the people who were like the love interests were not from this town, they're both from outsiders, so it made it better. And it's a Christmassy book and I also read it in Christmas time, so that could have maybe swayed me a bit, but that was definitely way more better than this one, or any others in the series, to be fair. Anyway, our last review was, this was worse than a Hallmark movie, and I love Hallmark movies. I know I'm choosing to read cheesy cliche 4 books, but this one was almost unbearable. The writing and dialogue made me want to cringe the whole time. I could barely make it through almost a DNF. Best part of the whole book was the farm animals being named after pop stars, which, again, yeah, I don't know about the pop star naming animals. Honestly, I do find that a bit odd, but I feel like some people definitely found it weirder. 3, which I feel like was a really good book for me as well. I did spend way more money than I need to spend on this book, which is When in Rome. So I actually bought this when I was in Italy, in Florence, and it was way more expensive than what it would have been back home. So do I kind of regret it a little bit. However, I did get to read it on the plane on the way back, and I did read literally majority of the book on that plane ride. It was such a fast read, and I feel like because I was on holiday as well in Rome, or not in Rome, sorry, in Florence. I know this is not based on obviously Italy, but it kind of like was a good vibes all around. Honestly, for me personally, I really enjoyed it. I felt the romance was so cute. I loved it. Anyway, but we're gonna go and read the reviews for 1 stars. So the first one is, it had a 2-star rating until Noah revealed that he had a tattoo of a pie and a bouquet of flowers. What the literal fuck. I personally don't feel like that's bad. Like, he owns a pie place. Like, give it man a rest. he owns a pie place, he's obviously passionate about it. If he's got a tattoo, this is just a tattoo. It's not that weird. Literally the two top comments of that is he owns a pie shop, and then someone's like, I'm high-key failing to see the issue. Like, I don't know what the issue with that person is, but yeah, because it did not bother me. Next one. The way I kept cringing the entire time. Oh god, this was so badly written and cliche. Like, I don't mind predictable romance, but it was painful. Plus the characters were so annoying and flat. Like, why do you hate each other and these are lovers based on what encounter exactly, and you'll fall in love in a few days? How? So many questions for you. To be fair, they did actually fall in love really quick. Thinking about it, like, she moved in or stayed at his house one night or whatever it was, I can't remember. And then within like not even a week, they was like basically dating. They did fall in love very quickly, honestly. She literally like uprooted her whole life as well for him. So it was very quick. Anyway, next one. I hate to say this, but this may be the worst romance I have read. I hate these characters for the crap. I couldn't even believe these people liked each other and were friends, let alone loved each other and were lovers. The blandest, clunkiest conversations. The first kiss was so random and made no sense with the plot, but then nothing else made sense, so whatever. I just simply cannot think of two people who feel more like strangers that don't like each other than these two. I am so flabbergasted by this book. To be fair, yeah, their relationship did kind of like pan a very short period of time, and there wasn't really any enemy-y thing there as well. I could say when they first met, the guy was like proper like annoyed because like she broke down like outside his house, I think, and he was just like annoyed with that and stuff, and then kind of like held that grudge. But there was like not really anything there for him to like really hate her for. But then there was hate, which I don't even know. There was like a bit of hatred there, to be fair, but I'm not entirely sure why, honestly. Anyway, next one is Godness. Ugh, so I can't speak. God, the FMC was annoying. I hope she chokes on those damn pies. There's no comment, honestly. Obviously I just did not like the book, but yeah, I don't know. That is the last review for this book. I personally still would have read it. I think at this point though, when I did find this, I had seen so many good reviews that like the few that I've just read now, I don't feel like would have deterred me from wanting to read this book. I do actually want to read some more of this series because I think they've got the next two out and I've not actually got them yet, so I do want to read more from the series. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, to be honest. Next one is actually, the next few books are by the exact same author, and I did read pretty much all of this author's 5-star. It's one of my favourite authors, which is Holly Jackson. The first one we're going to talk about is the reappearance of Rachel Price. This one actually, like, I did rate a 5-star. I did enjoy it, but I think out of all of the Holly Jackson books, it's probably my least favourite so far. I still need to read the last book that she's actually put out this year because I'm not around to reading that yet, but I do need to. Let's get on to the first review anyway. I went through the 5 stages of grief reading the reappearance of Rachel Price. What's happening? I had been so excited to get started on another Holly Jackson book, only to be disappointed. The more I read, the worse it became. Belle was an unlikable protagonist, and being stuck in her mind made me want to get lobotomized? I don't even know what that means. The romance between her and Ash was unnecessary and the plot twist was mediocre. The book itself, to put it lightly, was mediocre. And to think Holly Jackson considers this her favourite of her books, reading is subjective, sure, but I find it hard to believe that anyone could enjoy this book basically more than a good book had a murder and a price of 5. So disappointed. I should have guessed that this book would have been shit show the moment COVID and TikTok were referenced. I don't actually remember them two being referenced, however I do get what this person is saying. The relationship between Bella, I think that's her name, which is the main character, so Rachel Price's daughter, and then Ash. So if you've not read this book, basically there's a film crew in who are basically documenting the reappearance of Rachel Price because someone got a tip off or something to basically tell them to like do this investigation. And so they started doing it, and then the kid, so Bella, was one obviously in a lot of her clips talking about like her mum, even though I'm pretty certain she was very young when her mum disappeared. and her and one of the film guys basically started like dating a little bit basically, which I found really weird. I'm not sure how old either of them were, but I just, when I was reading it, I felt a bit, every time I was like a bit uncomfortable every time I did read about like their relationship and them talking and like doing whatever they was doing and stuff. I just felt like there's a time and place, and I feel like they just didn't need that in there. Honestly, I feel like the book would have been the exact same without it, but I do kind of get why it was there as well for some of the later bits in the scenes. Like, it made sense, but I don't know, they could have gone about it more of like a friend way and then an actual like relationship way, I think, personally. Yeah, I also feel like I don't get how no one knew where Rachel was the whole time, pretty much, or a couple of people obviously did, but I feel like it could have like been caught out a bit sooner. I don't know, and other stuff, like there's a bit of a plot twist at the end about someone, Rachel and someone, and that was definitely shocking. I'm like, I did not expect it, but I don't know how the characters, like the family, didn't as well, and how the family people just didn't catch on to certain things that happened like in the plot twist at the end. If you've read this, I feel like you know what I'm on about, but like books and stuff, how did no one figure that out? How did like no one figure out certain things? It doesn't make any sense with that sort of thing. But obviously as an author, I'm not an author, sorry, as the person reading, like it's not obvious, but as the, like after you've read it, the people in the book should have known, if that makes any sense. Anyway, next review. Belle made it really difficult for me to like this book. She was unnecessarily rude to everyone, and there was no explanation or justification on why she was so suspicious of Rachel. Overall, she was very unlikable, and by the end I didn't care what had actually happened in the story. That is, yeah, Bella wasn't my favourite character, and she was the majority of the book, so I do get what you mean with that. Also, I feel like anyone would be suspicious if their mum had disappeared for like 15 or something years and then just randomly shown back up. Like, is this actually my mum, or is this like a prank, you know what I mean? Because like they was in the middle of filming as well. She could have just thought, no, I think this is what happened. Was she was in the middle of filming and they was doing a clip on when like Rachel basically disappeared, and then Bella had been found basically by herself in the car, and they just done that clip, and then she went home because I think she was panicky or whatever, and then her mum just turns up, like her actual mum turns up, but obviously she's going to be suspicious because it's a bit like freaky, and also there's done videos of them, whatever, so like it might be that. But yeah, for this book personally, I think I still would have read it. I don't know, like it wasn't my favourite Holly Jackson book, however I did still rate it a 5 stars. I did really enjoy it, but it's not my favourite from her, but it was a good book. I think the reviews would not have deterred me from reading this at all. The next book, which I kind of gave it away slightly, is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. I wish none survived. The better survive reading it, do Holly do better. And then we have Holly Jackson, what the hell, dude. Seriously, this book was so fast paced. I didn't even get a chance to know most of the characters. The one character who wasn't one-dimensional was Red. I'm not even sure that was a good thing. I get it, she blamed herself for her mother's death and that eats at you, but for the love of all that is holy, did she have to be such a passive person? I felt nothing from this girl. Even when she was grieving, she was borderline catatonic till the very last moment, and by then it was a little too late to feel a connection. The book overall managed to be both a quick read and a chore to get through, because it was just dull despite the plot and the ending was wholly unsatisfying and implausible. Romance don't need to be shoved down our throats in every single YA book. It's very much okay if there's no romance, especially when a romance makes no damn sense. I do kind of get that with the romancey bit. I feel like Holly does like to have a bit of a romance in every book that she writes, however I don't feel like it's actually needed sometimes. I can't actually remember which book this was, who the romance were in on this book. I think I remember the two characters, but I can't actually remember which two were interested in, like, which two were like actually in the romance for this book personally, but I think I remember who. But yeah, there was like, it was very, very quick paced, and I do feel like I get what she means by some of the characters. I feel like at some points whenever things were getting mentioned, I kind of forgot who was who a little bit. But again, I feel like they need to be fast paced. I feel like that was what hooked me. If it wasn't fast paced, I feel like I wouldn't have been as hooked as I was. I also like how, one second, I'll show you. You'll get like this, so you get every hour, so like 3 AM, 4 AM, 5 AM, and then you get a bit in between, like what happened in that hour and stuff, and it was very good. I did actually enjoy that. Just thought I'll show you then. Anyway, next one is the girl, basically, she's got Taylor Swift in her profile picture, and I love that. Anyway, so I guess I have an unpopular opinion about this book. I really didn't enjoy it at all. The first half was long and boring, so I started off strong and I was excited about things finally picking up, but it ended up in absolute chaos. As much as I like the basically Crystal Murder series, needless to say, this is my least favourite book from this author, which I do understand. And I'm back. I've been recording back for half an hour apparently, so I got cut off. Yeah, so I don't know if I read this one. It was pretty much mediocre. I haven't read anything else by myself, but I'm planning to hopefully be able to give her a second chance. This book was okay. The main character was a pygmy, no questions about that. I didn't really like many of the characters. The only decent one was Maddie. I feel like we all got more detailed peace scenes than anything else in the book anyway, that's all. I don't remember that. Anyway, the main character who's actually in this book, and is, I think, majority of the time, is in their view, I feel like it's a bit of annoyance. I do get that. To be honest, they are a bit annoying at times, but I think like the character has to be like that for certain reasons. I can't remember exactly. I don't want to give things away, but there's certain reasons why they are like that, and I get it, but it can be a bit annoying, I think. And then that is the last review of that book, and with them reviews I still would have read the book. It is one of my favourite books by her. It's probably my second technically. I've got, so it pretty much goes the whole of the Good Girl Dead and Murder series, then this, and then Holly, repayments. And the last book that I was going to get reviews for is A Good Girl Dead and Murder. However, majority of reviews are just people being like, oh, I don't really like the book, like it's not for me, sort of thing. Some people did say the plot wasn't really a plot and it was just atrocious, basically. And I feel like a lot of people who don't like this book, or just this series in general, are wanting a realistic thing. So in this book, obviously it's not realistic. You've got like a 16-17-year-old who's basically solved the whole murder case, which obviously not going to happen, especially if the police can't actually solve it, and she's just came around and will solve it in like a couple months, if that. It's not realistic. Going on to even the other two books in the series, none of them are realistic, and the police work and stuff and things in this book and all the other books, like this girl would have been arrested like pretty much from page 1 if it was real life. So I think going into this you have to like know that things aren't realistic in this. However, personally I did really enjoy the book, and I think even with the reviews that I did see, I probably still would read the book, honestly. A lot of it was just, I think, people's personal preferences and them just not enjoying books that aren't realistic in general. But I haven't screenshotted anything from this because all the reviews were really long. I just didn't screenshot, but yeah, this book I still would have read even with the reviews that I did see. But I don't know if it's because I was also very excited because I did see a lot of good reviews when I first read this book. So I don't know. Maybe it would have changed a bit, but I feel like I would have still read it, to be fair, personally. Anyway, yeah, that is a few books that I have read that I gave 5 stars, that I think I pretty much would still read all of them, honestly, if I did happen to see the monsters at that point. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next week for a brand new video. Bye guys.